Hey babe, so the first thing that you're going to need for this video is a dome mesh cap, preferably one that fits your head. I have to use the extra large cap. I'm not exactly sure why, but that's the one that I use. And a mannequin head. I have mine. I've measured my head to it and it's 23 inches. So what we're getting ready to do is lay the closure on the dome mesh cap, and you want to pull it kind of where the lace is just a little bit over the edge of the cap, and you want to use your T-pins to help you secure the closure in place. And you want to go ahead and do that on the front and the back of the closure, wherever you're going to lay it. So my wig is a side part wig, so I put the closure on the side. If you want yours to be in the middle, you would place it in the middle and make sure that you secure it in the front and the back as well. And here I'm just going to show you guys how to do a basic knot for your weave thread. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys that, and I'm actually going to do it a couple times to make sure that I get a good little knot at the end. And once you're done making the knot, you want to go ahead and cut off the excess thread. And you want to start from the back of the closure and sew down one side first and then do the other side, so that it's not lifting up. This is just from what I have learned to do. It's easiest for me, it works for me, so I go ahead and sew down one side first. And the threading technique that I'm doing is I'm threading it through, and I'm also looping that thread around the needle like 3 or 4 times to make sure that it's secure for the first time. And then the second time, or the rest of the time that I'm threading it through the lace closure, I'm going to wrap the thread twice around the needle and then pull it through to make sure that it's secure every time. So as you can see, I'm threading it through, looping that thread over the needle twice, and then pulling it through. And as I'm reaching my last thread for the closure, I will actually wrap the thread around the needle a couple of times. So I'm on the last loop, and I'm going to wrap that thread around a couple of times. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. 6 times, and then pull it through, and then cut off the excess thread. Okay, so I have one side of the closure sewed down, so that's what it should look like. I'm going to take out the T-pins on the other side of my closure and sew that side down as well. So I'm showing you guys how I do the last loop again. One, two, three, 4, 5, and pull it through, make sure it's secure, and then cut off that excess thread. Okay, so I'm pulling it to show you guys that it's not going anywhere, it's not lifting. There should be a little part in the front where the flap is still up. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our bundles, and for our bundles I'm actually going to be double wefting just to help save myself some time and also make it easier for me. So I'm going to double weft. So I'm gonna take the weft, do it one time, fold it over, and I'm also gonna measure from one side of the closure to the other side of the closure. So that will be the beginning and the end for my bundle. And when I first start sewing my bundles, you want to put it through the weft, and just go ahead and wrap it a couple of times around your first loop to get it secure. And then for the rest of the bundle, you're just going to be sewing over and under the wefts instead of through them. So the only time that I go through the weft is at the beginning and at the end, just to make sure that it's secure. Throughout the remainder of the time that I'm sewing the bundle, I'm just gonna loop it over and under one time, wrap that thread around twice, and then pull it through. So this is the end of that first bundle. We're gonna sew through the wefts, wrap around a couple times to make sure it's secure, and then go ahead and pull it through, and then cut off the excess thread. So now we're starting on our next bundle, which is also double wefted still from one side of the closure to the other. And remember, starting off, we're gonna go through our wefts, and also ending, we're also going to go through our wefts. And I'm just showing you guys that over and under movement. Wrap the thread around twice and keep it moving for the rest of the bundle. I don't want to confuse you guys with my threading, so I don't want to keep on saying over and under. I'm actually going underneath both of the wefts that are double wefted. And I'm just looping it over the double wefted weft. But however you choose to sew is however you choose to sew. If you want to go underneath, that's fine. If you prefer to go over, that's fine. Just make sure you keep that same pattern. I don't know how changing the rhythm of your sewing pattern is going to affect your wig, but I would just suggest you go one way the whole time and not switch it up. And a brief intermission to show y'all my nails. I had to go and get my nails done, y'all. And now that we're getting closer to the top of the wig, we are no longer double wefting, we're actually single wefting, and we're still using the same method where we're going through the wefts at the beginning, looping a few times to secure it, and also doing the same thing at the end. So now I'm going to show you guys that I'm going to go just across now. Now that I have this full circle, I'm just going to go across, and we're still going to use our single wefts. When you get kind of like closer towards the top of the head, closer to the closure, you want to start using single wefts so that everything lays down flat. And now I'm actually going to go diagonal to make sure that I close up that closure part, and this is where I'm going to actually close it up. So I'm going to show you guys how I close it up at the top. It's right there behind the closure. I'm actually not sewing it onto the closure. I'm not sewing through that lace again. Okay, and that is the finished look. The last part that we have to do is to cut the cap that is underneath our closure. So you want to cut the part where you see that you have sewed the closure onto. You will be able to see the stitching. You don't want to cut so close to the stitching that it starts unraveling. So please be mindful and please be careful about that, because you don't want it to start unravel. But make sure you cut just enough. And just be careful with this part. So now it's finished.